So many people are losing their way. Social media, of course, it's become nothing more than an advertising tool. It's a way to sell you something. Everybody's selling. Everyone's either selling themselves, they're selling products. Everyone's an entrepreneur. Everyone is determined to not work. They want to achieve something. I just get the feeling that no one actually wants to work for it anymore. I could go on Indeed right now and find a job in an hour. I'm older, so it's like that's just kind of shocking to me. It's like, damn, man, nobody wants to work for it anymore. People are so convinced. They say, oh, okay, you want to live more and you want to work less, obviously, but you want to get more without working for it. And that part of it, that part, I don't even get. But so when you think about it, first of all, unplug from social media. And spend some time with yourself. Just sit back without the distraction of others, without the distraction of social media. Take some of your free time, and spend that time trying to figure out how you lost your way. There's a lot of things that could be the root cause of you losing your way. It's like you have to ask yourself. I'll put it this way. First thing you have to do is ask yourself, how am I moving? Examine how you're moving. If you're not accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish, if you're not doing the things that you want to do, if you're not getting the bread that you want to get, you have to look at how you're moving. I've never seen a time in society. I've never seen this in society. I've never seen society as confused, as separated, as lost as it is right now. Of course, right now it's just, people in their ideologies have taken over. It's to the point where it's us against them, and that's it. And then you have all of these younger people, and they're saying, I don't want to work for anybody, and that's cool. That's cool. But what about the meantime in between time? What about the time when, okay, let's say you want to create a t-shirt business. So you go out and you buy a press and you start pressing t-shirts, and you put on the t-shirt and you get on social media and you take your pics. Boom. And that's cool. I think that's cool. That's a good side hustle. But of course, in a lot of people's minds, they say, well, I want this to be my full-time job. I want to be a full-time t-shirt maker, and I don't want to do anything else. While there's other people who go to work, make the money, and filter a portion of this money into whatever dream they have for themselves. And I think that that's the way that it should be. But right now, people are saying, I don't plan on working for anything. I plan on just being the biggest, best entrepreneur and having all of this money and go viral and have my, Kanye West walking around in my t-shirts, and all that's cool, but all that is a dream, and that dream is actually relying on someone else. So in lieu of actually working for it, I think that so many people are just kind of sitting back, letting life happen to them. And in the meantime, you're not really moving forward, and you're not financing your ambition. You finance your ambition by working. I think that since the pandemic and everyone quit their jobs during the pandemic, Everybody quit their job. A lot of people got laid off. Of course, businesses, I completely understand the whole thing. But once we've moved to where we are now, a couple of years afterwards, people have said, well, I refuse to go back to work for somebody else. And that's cool, but you have to have a plan. And I think that what happens to a lot of people is that they decided to do their own thing, which I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but they didn't really think it out. What am I going to do in the meantime, in between time? Because there can be a lot of time between starting a business and becoming like super successful. So in the meantime, you're not working, and there's gonna come a point where these jobs are not going to be available to you anymore. People that are super ambitious, they're just like, okay, anything that you want to do, you have to find a way to finance it. And they're picking up like second jobs. Like me, I picked up a second job. I think I talked about it in a little bit more detail in my last video. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch that video. But a lot of people are still losing their way, and I don't think that they're taking as realistic an approach to their success as they could. So what happens when you lose your way? You have to kind of ask yourself some questions like, how am I moving? Am I moving with honesty? Am I taking time for myself? Am I truly focusing on myself? Or am I just posting on social media saying I'm focusing on myself? One word that has exploded, two words that have exploded is self-love. Self-love and, self-care. Caring for self is a byproduct of self-love. How you take care of yourself is a direct reflection of the love that you have for yourself. So what do you do when you find yourself losing your way? You have to find a way to get back on track. I think that first you have to figure out, where the hell did I lose my mind? When did I go from moving toward my goals and actually working for it and putting in the work that's needed, to still wanting to accomplish these goals without putting in the work? And sadly, I just don't see that as being feasible. It's not plausible, because you're going to get the same result that you've always gotten if you're not moving toward your goals aggressively and in the right way. So that's just kind of what was on my mind. Just like, the way that people have shifted their approach to work. And I think that the pandemic has a whole lot of lasting effects that people are not even paying attention to. Like work ethic. Work ethic is like a thing of the past. No one seems to want to go back to work. I was at home so much. I was working from home, so I completely understand. I don't even think you can even talk about losing your way unless you've actually been there. And I've been there. There was a time where I felt so lost. I was like, man, I don't want to work for these people anymore. The company that I work for. Of course, that brings on a lot of anxiety, because it's like, well, how in the fuck do you plan on paying your bills? Well, doing what you love. Everyone would love to be able to just say, I'm just gonna do what I love. Yeah, I love creating YouTube content, but I'm not going to let my love or my passion for creating videos make my financial situation worse. to the point where I'm struggling to pay my bills and move into a different direction or start doing something to get fast money just because I'm seeing this on social media and it looks great and it looks like these people are doing so well. People are on boats, people are in fancy hotels and wearing fancy clothes. And knowing what I know about social media and what I know about people is that, the majority of that is not real. Of course, if you see Kanye West on a boat, he's doing Kanye West. Kanye West is a billionaire. You went from pre-pandemic making $15 an hour or something, and you decided at some point, I want to have that Kanye West money. Can you get that make at $15 an hour? Yeah, you can in about 3 lifetimes. But it requires more work. I think that people have lost sight of that, and it stands to reason. That's why a lot of people are not successful today. People who have made it to a level where they're literally saying to themselves, I made it, and people are like, yep, he's made it all right. People are looking at them as if they haven't put in the time or the work for the craft. Now, if you're working, you only first of all you only have 24 hours in a day. Okay, you're going to spend a portion of that sleeping. How much you sleep is up to you. Me, maybe 5 hours a night. 5 hours a night. I'll just say 5 hours a night. So that leaves me 19 hours. I spend 8 hours, making sure that I'm taking care of home and taking care of my family. That's my full-time job. And I, of course, spend time doing things that I love, like shooting YouTube videos and running. But it still leaves a huge portion of my day. And I'm like, okay, I could spend that time sitting back with the homies, just drinking and smoking and kicking it and doing whatever people do, or I could spend that precious time taking care of things that need to be taken care of so that I can get to where I want to be. I think that people have these goals and people want to accomplish all of these things, but the idea of putting in those hours, those long hours, and going from working to doing whatever you need to do to accomplish your goals, whether it's shooting videos, whether it's whatever your goal is. You have, whatever your craft is, you have to put in the time, obviously. How much time a day are you focusing on actually taking care of those things? If I shoot a video once a month, and the video is 15 minutes long. So in the whole month, you only have 15 minutes to devote towards your craft? No, you have plenty of time. It's like you're kind of choosing other things over, whether it's time out with your friends that are important, time with your family, that stuff's important, time with yourself. All those things are important. But when you're trying to actually accomplish a goal, a real goal, and you say, well, this is what's going to take me to the next level, you have to dig deep and change the habits that go along with it. Because if you don't spend any time actually working on it, let's say if you're an artist, I don't think that, let's say you enjoy painting. The better your painting is usually the result of how much effort you put into it. There are no great artists. I believe that there are artists that spent enough time to where other people say this is amazing work. But again, they put in the time to get there. They put in more hours. It's easy to. I hope that's not my car horn going off. Probably not. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, you have to put in the time. You have to really put in the time and the effort. And just like the painting, the more time and effort you put into it, the better you become and the easier it becomes, and the less anxiety you have about accomplishing your goals and getting to the level that you want to be. Let's say you were running a 5K. You wanted to improve your 5K time. So you started running more. You started doing intervals. You started doing more running and more exercising, and you improve your diet, and you are slowly but surely going to see an increase in your 5K time. Because you're putting more work in, your body's getting stronger, you're getting stronger physically, you're getting stronger mentally. Running is not all physical, it's mental too. The minute you tell yourself, man, this is too far to run, you're not gonna run as far as someone who's running and saying, man, no, this is a piece of cake, and I'm putting in the work, and I'm running in the heat. While someone else will come along and say, I don't know why you out there running in the heat. It's not going to improve your time. You're just like, but it's not the truth. Those are the people that you actually don't even want in your circle, because those people are not being supportive, and you just don't want people in your circle who are non-supportive. It makes things even harder. It makes things more difficult for you, and it's just not a good look. Someone who really gives a shit about you, they're concerned about the things that you're concerned about, and even if they're not totally concerned about it, they are at least supportive of the fact that it's important to you. That's what's important. I hope that everyone is finding themselves productive. I hope that everyone is finding themselves creative. At the end of the day, that's what's important, to be true to yourself, be true to your craft, whatever it is. And not to lose sight of the topic of the video, which is losing your way. You go back, and at some point you're going to figure out, if you spend some time with yourself, you're going to figure out where the hell you lost your way, where the hell you lost your mind. You're going to figure out when things became so convoluted that you got off track. And that's the first step to getting back on track, is coming to terms with why you're not being successful. It could be procrastination, good old-fashioned procrastination. And when you sit back and give it your undivided attention, and you work through that procrastination, you find yourself slowly but surely getting back. That's just like if you run and you take some time off for running, then when you decide you want to run again, chances are you're not going to be as fast as you were before you kind of got off track with your running. And it's going to be evident when you get out there and you're like, man, I'm faster than this. I've been faster than this. But it's and so you have to kind of approach life like that. Sometimes we do have setbacks. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Everything it's not always going to be smooth sailing in your life. But what's great about us as humans is our ability to bounce back. I've seen people come back from some pretty pretty horrible things that have happened in them in life, and they able to come back. But it's not just like this. They had to work at it. And you have to work at it, and I have to work at it, and trying our best not to fall into the same hole that got you to the point where you lost track in the first place. It's really important for you to spend some time with yourself and just say, man, this is where I was, this is where I am now. Maybe I've taken 2 steps back, but even if it requires you to take 2 more steps back, you just got to look around and say, I was this and now I'm that. But why? Once you understand that why, you are already on the road to getting yourself back on track. Being honest with yourself is so important. It's one of the most important things we can do, is just be honest with ourselves and say, man, I'm not getting it done. And why? Because I'm coming home, I'm sitting on a couch, I'm turning on Netflix, and I'm watching every series. My camera equipment is still right there. It's just like me. I picked up this second job, and it affected how much I was able to post on social media. And it's like when I get off of work, I go to my second job, I come home, I'm still a father, I'm still a brother, I'm still a friend. I can't say that I'm a boyfriend or anything because I'm single, but at some point I had to say, okay, how do I get back on track? Of course, in my case, it's a matter of arranging things or rearranging things or finding different ways to accomplish my goals. For me, I said, okay, I'm gonna have to start batching my content and shooting videos, kind of back to back. So it required me to pick up a journal. First of all, I picked up a really nice hardback journal, and when I would get some free time during the day, or whenever I got some free time, if I had an idea for a video or something, I would write it down in a journal. So when I did set up my camera, I would already be like, okay, when you're losing your way, think about how you're moving. Are you moving with honesty? Are you leading with kindness? Are you choosing yourself? And of course, which is a byproduct of self-love. So that's not to say that journaling is the end all be all, but it works for me, and it allows me to still stay connected with what I'm trying to do, even when physically I can't be at my job with the camera set up and work a little bit, then jump in front of the camera and say, hey, this is BT, how you doing today? You can't do all those things, so you have to find some ways to work. So I had to say, okay, I had to rearrange my schedule, I had to set up time to shoot video. But you can get back on track once you figure out why you got off track in the first place. I hope that everyone is having a very, very productive, creative day. I hope that you are loving on yourself just as hard, if not harder, than you love on anyone else, because everything begins with self-love. And from there, and of course, it's an old saying, you can't truly love someone else until you truly have love for yourself. It starts inward and flows outward, not the other way around. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm BT Bonner. I invite you to subscribe to my channel, BT Bonner. If you like this video, leave a comment down below and click the like button if you liked it. If you have any ideas of your own about how to get on track, leave them in the comments. I appreciate it, and I will read it and I will respond to it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Pieces.